YouTube, it is I, Sakarma, coming at you from Total Brohammer here. A little 1v1 action. I myself am head of the Vampire Counts, with the Empire supporting me, led by a Void. A little 2v2 action. Sorry, 2v2 action, not 1v1 action. Sakarma, you dolt. And now we're fighting King Wizard and Cult of Pleasure. That's not the name of that player. But yeah, some guy who's heading Cult of Pleasure. And King Wizard, head of Norska. We'll find out his name later. So yeah, so it's going to be a fun little 2v2 action. The Empire and the Vampires together at last to ward off. I guess we can make this flavorful in a way. We'll say that this is these Dark Elves have turned to Slaanesh. I don't know if that happens in lore. I know that it did happen in lore and they retconned or something. It was kind of convoluted. But yeah, let's say they're Chaos Elves. I know it doesn't really exist, but hey, whatever. They made a deal with Throg, who was head of Norska, and they're going to kind of kill the raid the mainland, the old world, and the Vampires and Empire were forced to unite. And I am head here with Heinrich Kemmler, who of course now has the Chaos Tomb Blade, which looks pretty gangster. That's a pretty cool looking sword. It looks like that sword from Warcraft that Arthas used to use. I mean, it's got skulls on it, very, very funky. He's got a staff, he's got a cool hat, and he's got a, I don't know, goat's head or something on his shoulder. 2 goat's heads. So yeah, he's a very cool model. I actually like him. It looks like evil Gandalf. And then and he's one of the few characters in Warhammer that doesn't look like totally absurd. Like, he just looks like a person. Like, his muscles aren't jacked, his sword isn't even that big, his pauldrons aren't crazy huge. He does have a crotch skull medallion thingy here, and then a crotch skull chain chest thingy, little hands. So yeah, he's got an interesting style, certainly. I wouldn't recommend, I don't think it's going to be the big trend in fall, but I do think he looks, relatively normal when compared to, I don't know, things like this. It's just, everything's glowy, and this guy actually doesn't look so bad, They're all making me look silly. Anyways, so I had a vampires. Here's the guys who look ridiculous. My 2 Blood Knights. They look cool ridiculous, but they look ridiculous. But very, very cool. So I have 2 units of Blood Knights here. We'll go right into composition from that. Easy transition. I've got 2 zombies. And I've just gone really wide. So I brought a lot of skeleton spearmen, skeleton swordsmen. I think about 3 or 2 skeleton swordsmen, 4 skeleton spearmen, 1 sternsman, 1 great weapons somewhere, graveguard. Oh, just regular graveguard. I thought I'd break great weapons. I did not. I brought the Tithe. I brought a Vorgulf, I brought a Corpse Guard with a Holy Lodestone, and I brought the White King. And the White King got a buff in the last patch. He now has anti-infantry, so that'll make him good at when fighting, I don't know, infantry lords. Not that you ever see them, but yeah, I don't think he's a duelist. He's not, so he's more, I think he does a little bit of splash damage. But I brought him mainly because I want to try Scab Scrath, which I've seen be used well in certain matchups, so I want to try that. And of course he does get the Hurl Killing Blow, which will, boost him up pretty dramatically when you need to. So that's my army. Avoid, meanwhile, has brought a big contingent of cav on this flank. So we've got 2 Knights of the Blazing Sun, 1 Zentler's Reichsguard, 1 Joe, I was going to say Joe Wizard, 1 Jade Wizard, maybe his name is Joe, and Karl Franz, who Avoid has never brought before, but I told him, hey, Karl can be good for 40 seconds each battle, 40 seconds at a time, rather, in a battle when he has these 2 abilities popped. So Galmaraz and Reichland Rooflank, together they make him a pretty big beast in melee. Of course, they only last for 40 seconds. A game, and he will die very quickly because his melee defense is quite low. Again, sillily low compared to, I don't know if that's a word, but it should be, compared to the adverb of silly, compared to like Alariel, and I think even Teclis has similar stats, comparable melee defense stats, so that's not great. But yeah, and then he's got a front line of spearmen, some great swords here, Sigmar's Son, more great swords I assume, more spearmen, and then 3 archers, I guess, to shoot down some Norscan units like berserkers, and trade with Dark Elf ranged. Meanwhile, our opponents have the Norskins, so we've got throwing axes, ice wolves, skin wolves armored, not the Maza Savages, the regular ones, more marauders, some more Marauder champions. Interesting. No berserkers. He even brought the Icehorn Marauders over berserkers. Really interesting choice. Beasts of Tashnar, skin wolves, no Fimir either. So I would say those are probably the 2 of the better units in their faction, but hey, what do I know? That's just my opinion. We got the Burning Head. All right, Burning Head, Sword of Fire and Burning, and a Fireball. So very, very fire thematic, as you would imagine. Beast of Tashnar. I think that's about the whole force, yeah? Yeah, and then a Throg, of course. We mentioned Throg. We did not, but Throg is there. All right, so we've got, on the Dark Elf side, we've got some Harganeth Executioners with some Dread Spears in the back, some Doomfire Warlocks, some trades with great swords, Sigmar's Sisters of Singing Doom, very, very good unit. I mean, they don't really do much better than the regular Witch Elves, but they have, better stats, which is on an already pretty high-powered unit, is good. And then, of course, they cause terror, so that'll help them in prolonged melee, get rid of units faster. even though they rampage. I don't know how that works. But then we've got Shades with Great Swords, we've got some more Sister of Slaughter, more Haganeth, Executioner, more Dread Spears. He's got Supreme Sources of Fire on a Pegasus, so very interesting. Not the greatest stats in the world, but charge moves of 50 ain't bad. And she, of course, she's super fast, so she's pretty hard to kill. So yeah, interesting move. So double fire from these guys, very cool. Oh, and a Death Hag without her War Altar. So a naked Death Hag. I mean, they're always naked, but, well, naked-ish. But more so than usual this one, because she doesn't have that giant cauldron of blood with her. So, with that, let's get the battle started. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I think Avoid is seeing if healing will work on us, and it will not. So that's unfortunate. I think because we're undead, we don't get healing. So that's pretty lame. Even Kemmler crumbles, which is strange. He shouldn't. I feel like he shouldn't crumble. But I think vampires aren't supposed to crumble. That doesn't matter. They should. Never mind. I lied. Fake news. Anyways, so over here, repositioning. Of course, Avoid's putting his cab back into our main line. I'm just gonna gauge across all the front line. Why not? I just have chaff. Who cares? My Blood Knights, I'm choosing when to bring them in because they are hidden right now, so I don't want them to know about them. I'm hoping he'll move all his cav to this flank to try and prevent a void, or sort of counter a void rather. And then once that happens, you can open up a flank for me to come in. And you get fun stuff like that with 2v2s. You get to play a little bit more strategically sometimes. I mean, it is chaos, but there's also a little bit more strategy that comes into it sometimes. So Void's archers are trading well against these javelin throwers. That's good for me because it will protect my Vargulf. The Vargulf is just screaming his lungs out, ready to get into the battle. Iceborne Marauders are not going to do well against the Sternsmen. The Marauder champions will, but the Iceborne Marauders will not. Throg, of course, will. This Great Swords, I don't know how well they do against the champions. I assume they lose. They cost a lot less. So there's a Scabrath comes down, does a lot of damage to these Marauders. That's one of 3. That's the bound spell on the White King that you can bring it. It's an item. So yeah, I did good damage there. I mean, you get 3 of those, so you can, if it's placed well, it can wipe out a lot of units that have no armor. So Berserkers can be very, very effective against. He does bring in the Skin Wolves with armor, but as that happens, I'm going to bring my Blood Knights around, and then I'm going to promptly forget about them for a little bit of time. I'm just going to sit them right there. I brought them down. I was like, oh yeah, flanking action, but I was microing somewhere else. I saw this flaming burning head come down. It takes a lot of damage to my troops. I don't know what I was microing, but I just left them right there. That was really silly of me because I had perfect charging action. Could have done a lot of damage, and then my opponent picks up on this and just gets a nice charge and then a free charge, which is not good on me. So yeah, that wasn't great. I respond afterwards, but yeah, I'm going to bring in the White King, who's not going to be the greatest use in this fight because he's not anti-large, but he does a little bit of damage, and these Blood Knights are just wrecking these Skin Wolves. My god, so quickly. I didn't realize how fast they would do that. I always shit on Blood Knights, but they are good against monsters, just not single entities. That's the problem. So maybe in the new meta they could be useful again because they just murdered those Skin Wolves in 2 seconds flat. They're going to be very good in this matchup, I think. Blood Knights will. I think against Mammoths they'll have trouble, so I don't know. It's hard to say. We are doing well on this flank, but on the right flank they are coming down. The Dark Elves are pretty much untouched, and Avoid's Empire is getting a little beat up. But we have put a big dent in the Norscan army. Problem is these Shades obviously have armor piercing, and they're going to be fine over there. Avoid gets a nice Awakening of the Wood on these Haganeth Executioners just to slow them down, and then do some quick damage with his Reiksguard and pull out. Meanwhile, my army is, crumbling across the way, but, we have a lot of different tools. I think I summoned... Oh, yes. So we have a Krell sighting here. Here's Krell. He has come, and let's take a look at the new and improved Krell. So, ooh, look at that. There's Throg. Where's Krell? There's a Vargulf. My god, this is chaos. Where's Throg? No, where's Krell? Oh, there's Krell. He's tiny. I feel like he wasn't that small before. So here's Krell. Let's play it so we can go to this stupid... healing nonsense out of the way so we can take a little better look at him. But he's going after Throg. So as soon as this disappears, we're going to take a look at Krell because he is apparently new and improved. Oh, come on. Oh, look at the battle. Over here, Norska has mounted a bit of a comeback here. A lot of units have rallied and started pushing into us. My faction is very much beat up. But we have been able to isolate Throg and kill him. And, alright, fine. No, unfortunately, we have to look at Krell with the stupid healing on because otherwise he's going to die. So let's pause it real quick and let's see Krell. So Krell, I think, was given... Alright, that's not a bad look at him. So he's mixed in here. So Krell was given an anti-large. I'm not sure he had that in the last patch. I think that was new, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see what Krell can do nowadays. So 81 melee attack, which is insane. He might be getting a enhancement from something. Chaos Tombblade, no. Oh yeah, so he's getting enhanced by the Reichland Runeflang, which is a pretty good spell. Okay, so normally, so normally he's at, so -6 is 75, so he's at 55, which isn't bad at all. 470 armor piercing is huge. 20 bonus versus large. I mean, that's comparable to Grimgore's. He has Grimgore stats basically. He's like you get to summon Grimgore with anti-large. for free, which is pretty cool. He does crumble because he's a summon unit and he's weakness to flame. Well, that's Kindle Flame, so he does. I think he has a regular weakness to flame, anyways. But yeah, he's not a bad unit. He is undead. He is unbound, so he will die over time, but he can survive a long time. 100 armor. So like I said, you just get basically a Grimgore. You get a free Grimgore to bring with Kemmler, and Kemmler only costs like 1500. And he has a Chaos Tomb Blade, which heals units around him constantly, so they're a good little synergistic together. I don't know, very, very good unit, Krell is. And Kemmler is very, very good lord, I think. One of the better lords on vampires now because of the improvements to Krell. I mean, he was sort of already a very good lord ever since Krell has been added, but now he's even better. Because with that Cloak of Misted Shadows, he's hard to kill, and oh good, Flaming Head right across the line here. With the Cloak of Misted Shadows, he's hard to kill. The Chaos Blade helps heal things, and yeah, he's just a good unit overall. So these Blood Knights are in range of these shades, so I have to get them out of there because that armor piercing is devastating. There's one unit over here. I don't know where the other unit is. I'm sure they've run around. Oh, here they are. They were over here helping out get rid of Krell. They're gonna get charged in the back by the target. I'm gonna pull away. A Doom Bolt's going to come from the sky and do a little bit of damage. Yeah, not much. I think he has a. Does he have a base magical resistance? I want to say he does. He does have a physical resist. Oh, he got me when I had Wow. So I had the Cloak of Misted Shadows active. So that's trouble. When that happens, you can't really do anything to him. What is happening to his stats right now? He's jacked up. What's getting him right now? Oh, Undeath Resurgent. Lowly Lodestone, Vigor Mortis. So a lot going on here to boost up Krell. So he's no slouch right now in melee. We are starting to counter fire into these shades. Of course, they don't have much armor. They have all of, what, 30, so that's not great for them. And then I'm going to roundabout my Blood Knights and get in there. Well, I'm going to send my Blood Knights onto these Doomfire Warlocks, going to charge on them. And then while he's distracted here and shooting into this blob, I'm going to get a nice charge here with my Blood Knights. My opponent's going to see this, and he's going to try and countercharge with this Sorcerer of Fire, but it's not going to do a whole lot. And this is why you don't really want to bring Shades of Great Swords if you're expecting cav play, because even though he does prevent the charge here, we're going to get a nice little counter charge here again. Just so much damage, and those Great Swords are going to do not enough against these Blood Knights who are, just in such a good position here, just murder everything. A Fireball comes through and does some cool damage, but it's not going to be enough. We've gotten rid of one Shade. We are probably going to lose these Blood Knights, but it's not the end of the world. We were able to lock down the Shade, and that's pretty much the only killing power our opponents have left. But our armies are quite beat up. There's not a whole lot left by way of vampires. The cav here has been, been hurt. They are going to kill something over here. I don't know, what is this? Doomfire Warlock, so they're going to cast the Doomfire Warlocks. That's a big pickup for us, but there's a lot of healthy Hardened Executioners over here. There's one unit over here that's quite healthy, another unit over here that's mixed in with Dread Spear, so, preventing the Vargulf from getting good work done. This Hardened is going to take down this White King. These zombies are going to fall. They were summoned, or whatever's over here. The Sternens, rather, are going to fall. The Death Hag's healthy. So yeah, it's not looking good for us. Even though the balance bar isn't our way, there goes the last Scabrath, just right down the line. Didn't do much damage, but what can you do? I bring in the other unit of Blood Knights who are quite healthy. That's our ace in the hole, is the Blood Knights, and our cav in general. They're quite healthy, and of course they can be healed as the game goes on. The Supreme Sorcerer of Fire is dealing with we're fighting fire with fire here, guys, as these guys are just poking her with their flaming lances. She thought she was a Master of Flame, but she's part of the Flame War now. I don't know why a Void pulls out. I guess to get rid of these Shades. Probably should have stayed in there and finished her off, especially with Karl coming in. Unfortunately, she takes the air, and not enough to do it, but whatever. It's okay. Over here, we have some crossbowmen on this ridge firing into this flank, of course. They don't have armor piercing, and our Executioners have quite high armor at 100, so it's not going to be the greatest for us, but if you just shoot into these Dread Spears, that'll be quite good, because with this mucked up units here and Skeleton Warriors, the Vargulf can do some damage to these Hardened Executioners over time, which is good for us. What are his stats, the Hardened? 55, 42, 290, so yeah, very, very good. Or no, that's a spellcaster. Yeah, 55, 42, 92. Yeah, so to deal with those, that's not a bad unit. Unfortunately, the Sisters of Slaughter have gotten on Krell, and that is a great pickup for them because he has such little armor. So you can hear him right there. He says, "I run." He's trying to get away. Not a battle he wants to be in. I'm into that BDSM scene. I like that shit as much as the next guy. Let your free flag fly. So that was a good little unit. But I think Krell is more into the vanilla stuff. So he's trying to run away. He wants to get to a nice clothed lady and just have play some Scrabble and Balderdash and have a nice tea over crumpets. That's Krell's that's his dream weekend. Over here we got a nice charge in the back of the Sister of Slaughter, but they do have very high stats. The Supreme Sorcerer of Fire is coming in. I'm going to send out some zombies to help protect Krell, and they'll actually do okay against the Sister of Slaughter just because they have no armor. They have 5 armor, which is really bad. The Supreme Sorceress comes in and gets a nice hit on Krell. He is losing, but that was kind of a mistake of hers because now she's stuck in against the Blood Knights, and the Blood Knights should eat her for dinner. or lunch, or breakfast, any of the meals really. And she's stuck in there, and she's getting stabbed, but not taking much damage. I don't know, she's just able to push through. You'd think the Blood Knights would be able to get rid of her quite quick, but unfortunately they weren't able to, and she's going to pull right through. That's another Awakening Wood from my buddy Avoid over there, just doing a good job to slow him down. I want to avoid this Vargulf getting stuck in against these Dread Spears. It's not a good fight for him. Over here, these guys have come back. The Martyr Horsemen are starting to kill everything in our back line, which is not good. But really, all I have left is the vampires. It's the Blood Knights, Heinrich Kemmler, and this Vargulf, and he's at his healing cap, so that's no good. Meanwhile, Avoid's got this beat up Zinler's Rice Guard. He's got a Jade Wizard, and he does have Karl Franz, who again with his magic, is quite devastating. He tries to get a charge on Kemmler and try and pull away just quick, but now the Blood Knights have gotten their sweet fangs into her, and that's going to be it for her. She's in trouble. We're going to get a full surround with the Blood Knights. Their anti-large bonus. She doesn't have enough thing. Even Kremler's getting in on the fight here, trying to put her down. And as she dies, she's going to rout and shatter, and that will be the rest of it for her army, which is now going to flee. So a victory for the Vampire Empire combination against Norska and Cult of Pleasure. Oh, it was a good one. It was a fun one. Ooh, it's like a dragon snake monster. Interesting. So yeah, GG to our opponents here. Let's find out their names. So King Wizard and 14th Gemini Victrix Legion. I remember his name was funky. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He was like, I'm not going to bring the crone because she's broken. I was like, oh, thanks, buddy. So yeah, Kemmler's a good lord. I think Kemmler's a very good lord for vampires. He can be useful in all different situations. He has that Cloak of Mist and Shadow. It's very survivable. Chaos Tomb Blade is a great item. Let's just go take a look at some of the stuff you can bring with him. Battles, custom battles. You got the custom battles when you want to battle without rules. Here it is. Where is he? Kemmler. So you bring all this stuff. Obviously you want to bring Krell. He only costs 180, which is crazy good. Undeath Resurgent, you can bring that. You can not bring that, up to you. Spells, you're going to obviously get rid of this. This is the usual kit, these two stuff. Some people bring Dance Macabre. Some people bring this, some people don't, up to you. Only costs 57 anyways. And you bring him with these two abilities, and he's at 1557. That's really good. And you get constant healing. This is so you get him like so you get constant healing. You get like a rigor mortis with him. So he's kind of like a whatever it's called. What are these things called? Doom card, something card, corpse card. He's kind of like a corpse card, but obviously much faster at 34, which isn't crazy fast, but still more survivable, much faster. Heals everything around him. Does that apply to himself as well? Affects self and allies in range, so very good. So he's got a constant healing effect. He does do Cloak of Mist and Shadow, so he can be quite survivable for periods at a time. 45 melee defense, not bad at all. Again, more than Orion. This is a common theme here, guys. Why do all these caster lords have higher melee defense than Orion? Doesn't make sense. And if you say, oh, because he's a big fat monster, green monster, how does Kolek have like 60 melee defense? Give Kolek tons of armor. Sure, he's huge. It makes sense. But why does Kolek have, where is it? 52 melee defense. He's huge. He should be the easiest thing to hit in the world. He's got little feet. He's got 4 feet. Doesn't even have 2. He's got 4 feet. Should be easy to murder his feet. Give him a really aggressive pedicure. But no, apparently Kolek is harder to hit than Orion. I don't understand it, but hey, that's one of my gripes. So Karma's gripes. It'll be a new segment for us. But yeah, so Kemmler, very good lord. Vampires. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm not the biggest fan of the way they've been implemented in Game 2. Mainly because this is a pretty common build you see with this, and then you see the Red Duke or Karstein. So, and it is one of the only really viable builds for vampires against units that have monsters. The Blood Knights are good against other cav and against monstrous units like Crypt Horrors, although they wouldn't fight Crypt Horrors, but similar units in that vein. Unfortunately, against Lizardmen and against anything else that has the ability to bring a monster mash, they're going to be in trouble. And I think Famir with great weapons will just crush them, is my opinion, is my theory. I have to test it out, but that's my theory. Anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. That'll be one of I think the final 2v2 that we'll be casting for a little bit, unless we play them in the future. I can't predict the future, I can only guess. But I don't know that we'll be playing any more 2v2s in the near future. Hopefully we will. So hopefully we'll have more casts for you. But anyways, thanks for joining us, guys, and I'll see you around the bend.